Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day for Sunday, March the 22nd, race number 9 at Santa Anita. Let's throw up the field for the Sensational Star Stakes. We're on the turf. We're going 5.5. It is for Calbreds, 4-year-olds and up. There are some nice names in here, Mike. A couple of horses turning back in distance, a couple of horses trying turf for the first time, a couple of horses with a lot of back class, and a couple of fillies in this race to boot. We're going to take a look at this field, and I think the 9 Steal the Diamonds is interesting. She probably wanted to run in the Irish O'Brien Stakes, a race that was postponed from a couple of weeks back against fillies and mares. She just won the Sunshine Millions fillies and mares turf. We're going to take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. She is expected to be on the lead. She's gone gate to wire in both starts off the claim.
Yeah, we'll see how comfortable she can get up there, Dan. I think this is probably a tougher race for her, especially when you just consider that last one where, I mean, she just got absolutely loose on a relatively slow pace for the distance. I think things might be a little different this time.
And I want to remind everybody to head on over to timeformus.com after scratches are made official. We'll see if the fillies run in this race. If not, this pace projector will update automatically. It could change drastically. The one is Grinning Tiger. My Grinning Tiger ran in the Joe Hernandez the last time he stepped on the turf, a graded stakes event that produced 2 next out winners. The winner of that race, Texas Wedge, shipped to Gulfstream, won the World of Trouble sprint with a 96 Fire speed figure. Grinning Tiger just tired that day. I think his prior form on turf is good. I just wonder where he stacks up here from a class standpoint.
I agree. They don't run him too much on the turf, but he handles it pretty well. I mean, the Hernandez two-back, I'm just not going to hold against him, Dan. That was a tougher spot. Going back to the California flag back in last October, though, he ran pretty well that day. He got wired by Castle, but he was very game in the stretch of that race.
He does seem to have some good tactical speed, drawing the inside post. Maybe he can save some valuable ground in behind the leaders. Wound Tight is the number 2. This horse is cutting back drastically in distance of several route appearances. He has only sprinted once on turf in his career. That race was off of a very long layoff. It's really hard to actually analyze that race in its full. His turf races going long are just fine. I'm not sure how he's going to handle this drastic cutback.
I mean, it's a big question of how he's going to handle this much shorter distance. And he's obviously in very good form going long. It's really hard to make this drastic of a cutback, though, in distance, especially on the grass.
I think Brando the bartender's racing himself back into shape. This is going to be his 3rd start since the summer layoff. And we'll go back to his most recent race, an open non-winners of 2 other than. He's going to finish a solid 2nd in here. The 4th place horse came back, shipped all the way up to Golden Gate, won a synthetic non-winners of 2 other than with a whopping 97 Buyer speed figure. If the pace is fast, this one will be running late.
I expect him to have a good setup in this race. You see him making a nice run in the stretch here, but he just gets steamrolled by a horse who came from behind him at the end, a really impressive winner of that race. But this horse ran very well in his own right.
Just Grazed Me is the number 4, one of the 2 mares in here. She was odds on in the Sunshine Millions filly and mare turf sprint. She chased the 9 in here, Steal the Diamonds, to no avail. She tried her best. She was gaining on that horse at the end. The leader just had too much of a tactical advantage on her.
Yeah, I thought that she was actually pretty unlucky in that race. She didn't get a bad trip at all, but Steal the Diamonds was just absolutely loose on a soft pace and had plenty left in the stretch when Just Grazed Me tried to run her down. I actually felt like Just Grazed Me ran really well, and it was sort of encouraging, Dad, because she was in really good form at the end of last year.
The 5T grade DeSlugo is going to be trying turf for the first time. Let's go back to his last start on dirt. Calbred, non-winners of 1 other than, going 6 furlongs, rallies sharply from off the pace to win this race. He is by Smiling Tiger, who does well with first-time turf runners, 17%. The dam was 0 for 1 on the turf, but she finished 2nd in that race. She has foaled 4 turf runners, none have won. But if you go back in this pedigree, there are some turf horses on the bottom, most notably the multiple grade 3 winner, Purely Cozine. This horse has upside and a bit of a kick.
Yeah, he does. He really finished well in that race. We'll see if he can keep this pace and range as he switches to turf for the first time. It's hard for me to take him, Dan, as he tries turf for the first time. Not that I don't respect his form, but a 5-year-old with only 3 starts, they've had problems with this horse. So we'll see if he can just keep his momentum going.
The Hunted, the number 6, classes up pretty well with these types. He was in the Grade 3 Thunder Road last time out. He did no running at all in that race. He basically was last on the rail, passed a couple of tired ones in the stretch. We know River Boyne, the winner of that race, is a Grade 1 horse in Southern California. He won the Kilroe recently with a 99 buyer. This horse has never sprinted in his career, and the concern is he is simply going to be outrun early. He does have figs at middle distances that indicate if he can sprint, he can run.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think he fits as far as, his talent goes. I just don't know about him sprinting. Dan, we've talked about this a lot when we do these previews. These turnbacks on turf are it's really hard to win cutting back on grass, and he's never sprinted.
Lieutenant Dan comes off a little bit of a layoff, acquitted himself quite well in the race we're going to show you. That's the California Cup Sprint on the dirt. He's going to finish second to a sharp horse that's fashionably fast. Actually, I'm sorry, this is his race in the Snow Chief, finishing third all the way back on June the 22nd, his most recent start on turf at 1 1/8 miles. He showed good speed that day, Mike. He tired. He's been doing good work on dirt sprinting.
I think he's interested in this race, Dan, if only because, he hasn't won on turf, but he's run well in both of his turf starts. They were going longer. And I think when you start taking his form apart on the main track, he's a better sprinter on the main track. I'm very interested to see how he runs sprinting on the grass.
Should get a nice trip, I would think, up close to the pace. Castle is the number 8, fourth most recently, and an optional claimer on turf. He's coming into this race off about a 3-month layoff. He faced a decent horse in that turf sprint last time. The third finisher came back to win the Clocker's Corner with a 92 buyer.
I mean, he's got speed. He looks like a pretty nice fit in this race. His win, first off, the claim there for Mark Glatt in the California Flag last year was good, but he had control of the pace that day. I wonder how easy it's going to be for him up front in this spot.
Let's watch Steal the Diamonds' win in the Sunshine Million filly and mare turf. She was able to get to the front in that race. She was able to control this pace, as Mike mentioned, to the start. We're going to see Just Graze Me try to get her late to no avail, falls a bit short. Steal the Diamonds just got a great trip and ride in this race, and you would think there would be maybe a little bit more pressure in here, perhaps from the horse coming from the rail, but if she gets loose, she could do this again.
She could. I mean, I'm not going to knock her. She's won 2 races in a row. She's got good speed. She's obviously a talented horse, but I can't take her off that last race, Dan.
Loudmouth is the 10. The source just won a $32,000 claimer on the turf. We'll watch that race right now. She comes from off the pace. She just gets it done. Keep in mind, she's 16-1 in this race, a $32,000 claimer. She has tried stakes competition twice before, and he's failed both times.
Yeah, he looks like he's in pretty tough here. I understand why they're going to step him up here off of a nice win with a new top figure, but this is a tough spot for him.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Sensational Star Stakes. Mike, where are you heading?
I'm going to give Just Graze Me. I realize that she's a mare taking on boys in this race, and maybe this isn't really where they wanted to run her, but I really liked her form at the end of last year, Dan, and she ran really well in her first start off the left. She just got unlucky.
Wide open race, the Sensational Star, race number 8 at Santa Anita on Sunday. Approximate post time, 4 o'clock Pacific. Best of luck.